They said I wasn't leadership material. No specifics. Just a nod. A shrug. A smile. Clark Renshaw sat across from me in a glass-walled office that overlooked the entire floor. The floor I practically ran. He skimmed my performance review without reading it. You're reliable, Savannah. But leadership requires a certain presence. Presence? I'd managed 5 portfolios. Increased revenue by 27%. Stayed late, trained interns, fixed their mistakes. But presence? That was code for something else. He wanted louder, flashier, more like him. I smiled, and something inside me cracked. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I researched. Because if I wasn't leadership material to them, I'd become their replacement. The week after that review, Clark promoted Devin, the intern I trained, the one who copied my strategy doc word for word. He called Devin a natural-born leader. Devin nodded like a bobblehead. No shame. Just a cheap cologne and recycled confidence. I sat in the back of the conference room, invisible. Again, Clark clapped him on the back. See? This is initiative. I nearly laughed. My work. My numbers. My name stripped off the deck. But I didn't speak up. Not yet. Because storms don't shout. They build. And I was already sketching a blueprint. Not to climb their ladder. To build one that made theirs irrelevant. Talia Greer used to sit next to me at Firmex. Smart. Grounded. They let her go last year. Budget cuts, Clark said. But I knew better. She made him nervous. Too good. Too black. Too honest. We met for coffee downtown. She smiled like she'd been waiting for me to call. I knew it was coming, she said. I didn't even explain. I just said, I'm ready. She nodded. There's a space at Polaris. Daniel Croft's building a strategy unit. Quietly. They want architects, not showmen. I exhaled. Polaris. The name already felt like elevation. I wasn't just leaving Firmex. I was stepping into purpose. And when I stood up, I was already taller. I didn't announce it. Didn't give Clark a show. I submitted my resignation via email. 2 lines, no emotion. No 2 weeks.
No farewell bagels.
Just silence. He didn't respond. But word traveled. By noon, Devin asked if I'd help transition my files. I smiled. I already did. What he didn't realize. All the files he got were the shells. The versions without logic. The real frameworks lived in my head. Firmex didn't just lose a strategist. They lost the engine. They just didn't know it yet. And as I packed my desk in silence, I left a sticky note on my monitor. Don't copy what you don't understand. Daniel Croft met me in person. That alone felt revolutionary. He didn't ask for buzzwords or decks. He asked, what do you wish someone had let you build? I almost cried. Instead, I showed him my private prototype. A scalable, data-driven system for predicting portfolio risks. Firmex shelved it last year. Too ambitious, Clark had said. Daniel stared at the screen. This is brilliant. You'll lead the team. Just like that. No ego. No teatrix. Just recognition. I said yes. Not for the title. For the freedom. And because deep down I knew. This time, I wasn't joining a company. I was joining momentum. Firmex noticed within weeks. Devin's reports weren't landing. Client retention slipped. 2 major accounts flagged concerns. Clark called an emergency huddle. The data model was off. The client insights weren't sharp. Because they were mine. And I took the soul of them with me. You can't copy innovation. You can only live it. Meanwhile, Polaris was flying. Daniel trusted me with full access. I brought in Talia. Then Mona from compliance. Then Ao from ops. All people Clark said weren't Firmex material. But guess what? They weren't. They were better. And together, we weren't just building a team. We were building a mirror. So Firmex could watch itself fall. Talia rebuilt the reporting system in a week. Mona closed a compliance gap no one at Firmex even saw. Ao automated onboarding for our top clients. We didn't talk about revenge. We just moved like a wave. Quiet. Powerful. Unstoppable. One client emailed. This is what we always needed. I smiled. They used to call us too direct, too bold, too much. Now we were the blueprint. Daniel stepped back. He let us lead.
No micromanaging. No ego.
Just air to breathe. And that's how greatness grows. In silence among people who were once told they were too much. By people who were never enough. Firmex lost their biggest contract in Q3. It wasn't a surprise. The client quietly moved to Polaris. Same project. Same needs. Different leadership. They didn't call to explain. They didn't owe Clark anything. He tried to blame market shifts. But insiders knew. The old team had built that relationship. And now the old team was with me. Clark asked Devin to find a fix. Devin offered a discount. The client didn't even reply. Because loyalty isn't built on price. It's built on presence. And Firmex had none. Just loud men in suits who had mistaken noise for value. And me? I was just getting started. Polaris posted the win on LinkedIn. No names. No sabe. Just stats. Plus 18% retention. Plus 2 new enterprise accounts. Plus 1 dream team. The comments rolled in. One exec wrote, "Whatever Savannah Creed is doing over there, it's working." I didn't repost it. Didn't need to. Clark saw it anyway. His silence was louder than any reply. He sent Devin to gather intel. Devant DMDME. Hey, can we chat? Need insight on our old flow. I stared at the message. Then deleted it. This wasn't a comeback. It was a reroute. And my new lane had no off-ramp. We didn't announce our hiring spree. We just reached out. Quietly. Precisely. People who were overlooked. Overworked. Talked over. One by one. We brought them home. By mid-year, 6 more former Firmex staffers joined us. They weren't broken. They were buried. All they needed was sunlight. And once they had it, they bloomed. The office wasn't fancy. But the energy? Flawless. You could feel it in the hallway. No tensión. Just growth. We weren't a company. We were the correction. Firmex held an all-hands Zoom. Clark wore his crisis face. He used phrases like retention opportunity and internal culture pivot. Translation? They were bleeding people and couldn't plug the hole. Someone anonymously typed in the chat, "Should we ask Savannah?" Clark froze, then laughed awkwardly, then moved on. But the message stayed there, pinned, untouchable. He could mute us. He could fire us. But he couldn't erase what he failed to build. And everyone knew, even if they couldn't say it. Not yet. An HR tech conference reached out. "We'd love for you to keynote." Me? I almost declined. Then I remembered Clark once said, "You're great behind the scenes." So I said yes. Titled my talk, "Redefining Leadership, the Quiet Builders." The room was full. When I walked on stage, people clapped before I spoke. Afterward, a line formed. One woman whispered, "I left a toxic firm last month. You gave me hope." I didn't cry. I smiled. Because this wasn't just healing. This was harvest. He finally reached out. An email. For words. Lunch. To catch up. I read it 3 times. Deleted it once. Then restored it. Then replied, "Sure. I'll bring my team." His follow-up. "Just you and me?" I didn't answer. Because the answer was already public. We weren't equals anymore. He hadn't just lost me. He'd lost access. And lunch wasn't enough. To rewrite a history he refused to read the first time. Talia launched our mentorship program. Within 2 weeks, we had 400 sign-ups. Young professionals from underrepresented backgrounds. She led with clarity. Built a platform Clark always claimed was too complex. Now it was running circles around his quarterly initiative. One mentee wrote, "Your team made me feel seen. For the first time." That message hit us all. Hard. Because we weren't here to retaliate. We were here to restore. And restoring a whole generation? That's better than any headline. Devin left Firmex. No warning. No press release. Just a quiet LinkedIn update. Exploring new opportunities. He messaged me again. This time he was humble. "I think I messed up." I didn't reply. But I didn't hate him either. He was just another symptom of a system that rewarded theft and called it talent. He wasn't the reason I left. He was the reminder of why I'd never go back. Polaris sets new benchmark in inclusive strategy. That was the headline. The article mentioned our numbers, our programs, our people.
No scandals. No fluff.
Just receipts. I read it at my kitchen table. Alone.
No champagne.
Just stillness. Because sometimes the loudest victory is the one you read in silence, with your name printed clearly, for the first time, not as a contributor, not as a hidden architect, but as a leader. A major account had a near crash. Mona caught the error in minutes, rewrote the whole compliance flow by morning. The client stayed, paid double, wrote a thank you letter. Mona framed it. Clark once said she lacked the polish for leadership. Now, she was the gold standard. We celebrated small. Lunch. Laughter. No hierarchy. Just momentum. Just women who'd been pushed out of the room, now running the building. They reached out officially. We'd like to contract Polaris for restructuring. My name was in the email. Daniel asked, "Do you want this one?" I smiled. Sure. Triple rate. With training requirements. And zero whiteboard brainstorming. He laughed. It's already in the contract. The invoice was paid in 2 days. We didn't gloat. We delivered. Because revenge isn't loud. It's strategic. And sometimes, it's billable. Annual strategy gala. I wore the same black dress they once called too much. Clark saw me across the room. Walked over. You've really done something, Savannah. I sipped my drink. We all have. He extended a hand. I shook it. Out of courtesy, not closure. Because I no longer needed his recognition. I had mine. And it fit better. She approached me nervously. I used to be in accounting at Firmex. You don't know me. I smiled. But I know you now. She said. Watching you made me stay in this industry. That was it. That was everything. All the anger. All the restraint. All the nights I wanted to quit. They were worth it. Because when you rebuild, you don't just win. You inspire. Breaking news. COO Clark Renshaw announces retirement. Internal email leaked. Loss of key staff, shifting tides, burnout. They gave him a standing ovation. But inside, people knew. It wasn't burnout. It was irrelevance. The system he built didn't need him. Because it was never built to last. And the ones he dismissed? They were running the new age. From outside his walls. Daniel invited me to lunch. Handed me an envelope. Offer letter. Managing partner, Polaris Insight Group. Not a gesture. Not a favor. Fact. Earned. I called my mother. She cried. She remembered when I almost gave up. When I called home from the office bathroom shaking. Now I was the face of a new standard. A leader. Not in title, but in impact. Hi Savannah. We're updating our alumni feature. Could we include your career story? I stared at the email. They wanted my story now? The one they edited out of every pitch deck? I forwarded it to Talia. She just replied. LOL. Say less. I never replied. Because my story doesn't live in their archives. It lives in the team that outgrew them. And outshined them. We moved into a bigger space. Top floor. Glass walls. A small plaque at the entrance. Built by the overlooked. Clients walked in and smiled. Some cried. We weren't fancy. We were honest. And effective. And free. Devin applied for a role. We interviewed him. Politely. He didn't get it. Not because of the past. But because we didn't move backwards. We moved forward. A college senior reached out. Said she saw my keynote online. She said. I was going to change majors. Now I'm building my own thing. I invited her to shadow me. She came in with wide eyes. And hope. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't here to prove anything anymore. I was here to plant legacy. Because leadership isn't just about rising. It's about lifting. And we built a ladder so wide. There's no room left for ceilings.